Oh yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, King. So for the viewers, in our community, it's not really as popular as it should be, writing and poetry, but it's something obviously you could use for stress relief,
Mhm.
previous trauma, childhood trauma, anger management. So it's a tool that we got to take advantage of. So I'm glad that you shared those things with us. Um, Let me see. Oh, we could talk about the YouTube channel a little bit. Some of the different stories and stuff that you have shared. Maybe the viewers may not be familiar with. Um, Man, let me see where to start. You know what I'm saying? I guess, like you were saying, rude awakening. Coming from prison after 25 years, what were some of the things that you came home to that you were surprised, that you would have to deal with?
Uh, well, honestly, a lot of people inside it's crazy because we tell each other inside what to expect, and usually those that tell us are the ones that went out, came back, older brothers, and they be like, man, when you get home, it's gonna be rough, it's gonna be tough. Your ex fella, your ex con, etc. Jobs is not hard for us to find. Since I've been out, almost everybody that came out on this particular wave in Virginia, it was about 2,000 released in the course of a 3-year period. Um, Most of us that I know have jobs. So the job wasn't the issue. But the guys that I have known and have talked to, all of us said the same thing. Man, family didn't change, um, because people, when we were out, when I was out, I had a grandfather and everybody came over his house. Whether you were hood or you were, suburban, he didn't judge. My grandfather, John Lewis, he didn't judge, you know what I mean? But he was serious with any silliness. He didn't tolerate silliness. He was a hard worker all his life, and he demanded respect. So when we came over, whoever you were, I don't care if you had the biggest gun in your car or if you had a bank account, that was just out of this world. Everybody came in humble in front of granddaddy. He passed, about 16, 17 years ago. Um, so family still got together. My grandmother still made phone calls, still got us together. But over the years, it had waned significantly. Um, Everyone grew. We are young. The parents, we have disagreed. I've seen my aunts and uncles not talk or whatever. I come out, people haven't spoken to each other in years. I'm like, that's our cousin. Like, how haven't you spoken to them? How haven't you spoken to mom? How haven't you spoken to brother? Our brother. So, and then it took me a minute to sit back and see why. Everyone has, done things. Some people have borrowed money and never returned. Some people have come over people's houses drunk and messed it up and left. Some people have bad mouthed family behind family's back and they got back to family, and so they don't want to deal with you. When I came back, that's what seems to be real heavy in the atmosphere, not just among my own clan, but among many clans. No one has to me, the strength to say, let's sit down and talk. See, in prison, it's different. There are two things we're going to do when we have an issue. We're going to fight or we're going to talk about it because neither one of us going to run. Now, people do cut each other off in prison, but what happens is if you and someone cool or there was some respect and people notice y'all not talking, people get involved. Be like, man, why you ain't talking to Tay? Nah, man, I told Slim, don't say that to me, don't do this, don't talk that way. Whoa, whoa. He kept getting slick. I told him it is what it is, man. We said what we said, and it's over. I ain't got no time for that. But if it's somebody really see y'all and know y'all was tight for months, yeah, maybe somebody gonna go pull up on him like, man, that's your dude, man. Why you keep talking slick? Da, 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 da. And people form bonds and reform bonds because we were forced to either act like kids and be dealt with or act like adults and appreciate what come with that quality of life. You understand? So that was probably the rudest awakening, to be honest, which is like everyone was, everyone was in their own world, if you will. And, without putting them out there, it was like kind of threw me off because I'm like, okay, we fathers, we mothers, but we can do better. You know, I know families that we grew up with, like family childhood friends that we grew up with, parallel to our family. And almost that entire family is successful. You know what I mean? The mother and father go to Africa every other year. They got a daughter over there that's married with a child. They got another daughter in Philly that's married. She was a dancing phenom. They have a daughter up in Chicago, New York that wrote and put shows together for Bryant Gumbel Sports. They have a daughter that's a physical therapist. They have a son that co-owns the construction company I actually came home and worked for because we grew up together. Their father started it. They have another son. He's a yoga master. one daughter, she's on drugs, but out the whole seven of them kids, six of them are phenomenal. And even the children, the one that's kind of out there a little bit struggling, her children are great because they're with the parents of that mom, and their parents are still together. And I love them to death because they're like, they're like auntie and uncle. You know what I mean? Baba and mama. That's what we call them. Saying Baba and mama. So I look at their family and I'm like, our family can do the same. But there were components that went into that family. The parents stayed together. They maintained faith. They maintained love, and they didn't allow addictions to intrude. When those things got involved in my clan, they left room for mishap. So that was one of the biggest rude awakenings. Of course, the culture. I'm from D.C. Whole lot of cultural changes. Europeans running down the street, and I'm not mad. It's just I hadn't seen that. I'm in Southeast, places that we were scared to walk. They were walking down the street with dogs, and I'm like, okay, this is what it is now. Hispanics work everywhere. Spanish women are holding stop signs and whatnot at construction sites. Every construction site has a food truck with a Hispanic lady in there selling food to the majority of Spanish workers at the construction sites in DC. So I was like, wow, I remember, a lot of us did work. We did have construction jobs, but I'm seeing a real change. Why that is, I'm not sure. I know we're not lazy, but I do know that that's what I'm seeing. And it kind of threw me off. I'm like, okay, whole neighborhoods have been regentrified, So those are the things that probably grabbed me the first when I first came home. And so when I spoke about that in a couple of videos, what was my being fresh out moments, technology. Like I said, I'm doing this on the phone. I have under my bed a laptop and still have issues with trying to figure that out. So I do almost everything on my phone. So I'm still learning to work through the technicals of the phones and computers and stuff. So I'm still learning those things. I usually get my nieces to help me, or my cousin or my lady. They'll help me with those things. But I'm still kind of green to them because I haven't been on those apparatus for ever, So